Hi, my name is Jordan, and this is KubeFM.
So first things first, who are you, what's your role, and where do you work?
So I'm Jordan. I work for Aurea Imaging as a software engineer. I focus mainly on the IoT data side and the edge computing side. And I'm here at the SpectroCloud booth, which we have been cooperating a lot with our Kairos projects the last 1.5 years.
Now, what are 3 emerging Kubernetes tools that you are keeping an eye on?
Well, obviously K3s, because we are using it and it's rapidly evolving. We keep an eye on K0s as well, because it's a lightweight distribution of Kubernetes that we could potentially use. And of course, the usual open source technologies like Argo, Flux, for more GitOps operations, for more GitOps automatic updates.
So we're hearing a lot about AI, but you're actually running AI on NVIDIA at the edge, literally in the field, because we're talking about physical fields. Just give us some context about the kind of stuff that you're working with, why you decided to end up using the technologies you're using.
Yeah, basically we are running AI on tractors in the field in precision agricultural applications. The reason we do that is because we have a lot of data to be processed in a short amount of time. We are very limited with bandwidth, so we have to do all the heavy lifting on the edge before sending more lightweight data to the clouds. So we actually have to do all the AI inference on the edge. We have to detect blossom, fruits. We also do vigor detection. So we have to run all of our machine learning models on the edge, do the AI inference there, and then send the process data to the cloud for further processing and visualization.
Now, sovereign cloud is a big theme at KubeCon EU this year. Governments and regulated industries want full control over where workloads run. What changes about your Kubernetes operating model when you can't lean on the hyperscaler?
Well, we're not really leaning on the hyperscaler anyway on the edge device, because we do run Kubernetes on our NVIDIA Jetson boards. On the cloud side, yeah, it's something that we have to take into account, as we do have to be the new hyperscaler provider. We have to take care of all the networking stuff. IAM, for example, to configure them with RBAC in Kubernetes, but mostly on the edge side is something that we anyway do.
A lot of teams manage clusters differently depending on whether they're on EKS, GKE, bare metal, or something else entirely. Is multi-distro Kubernetes actually manageable at scale, or do most teams just pick one and stick with it?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because we do run K3s on the edge on bare metal, and we also use GKE on our cloud Kubernetes. So it's mostly a matter of knowledge of the team. And it's what you inherited, what was there already, and then it's becoming a bit of a habit. It's kind of tricky. You have to build a platform around it. If you break something on a node level, then you really need to know how to fix that on the distribution that you are working for, like if it's on Google or if it's on bare metal. So you really need to have the knowledge of what is on the base layer of the platform and the networking, and possibly security as well.
So for teams that are considering running Kubernetes on the edge, what are some top tips that you would recommend, or things they should absolutely keep in mind if they're going to get started?
Really keep the image lightweight. As we do over-the-air updates, we are limited with bandwidth, usually on edge devices. So you really need to take into account that. And also you really need to take into account where does the cluster is deployed? What's your node like? What is your host? And the networking layer of that. How does the cluster integrate with the networking layer of the host? Because that's where we see most of our challenges in remote environments like agriculture, in air-gapped environments. IPs are not necessarily static. You connect through 4G. IPs change. You might have some DNS priority issues, so you really need to know networking to manage that.
Okay, so networking is absolutely essential. Looking towards the future of Kubernetes, about 2 years ago, Kubernetes turned 10 years old. Looking at the next few years on Kubernetes, when it comes to networking, AI, or running Kubernetes at the edge, what can we expect? What do you think will happen?
Well, I think we're going to see a big shift towards Kubernetes on the edge. I see in this conference now, there is quite some talks and people interested in that, but I think it's going to become bigger. We're going to see it in factories, possibly in the industry, maybe in defense, in satellites. I've seen it already, quite some interesting talks. And I think it's going to get more traction as we move away from the traditional cloud providers, and we're running a lot of applications on the edge, and Kubernetes is an integral part of that.
And what's next for you, Jordan?
For us as a company, we are working now on upgrading our NVIDIA stack, and that's going to happen with basically Kairos, the immutable OS that we are using, And it's quite a challenge to keep up to date with industry standards in the NVIDIA ecosystems. But with that, we can always do it over the air remotely as we have devices deployed in the field globally.
And if people want to get in touch with you to learn more about your experience running Kubernetes at the edge, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, you can reach me through Jordan at aureaimaging.com or through my LinkedIn profile.